Behind the Scenes, Secrets of Katharine Hepburn. About Stage Door, revealed by Ginger Rogers. Ginger Rogers was born Virginia Catherine McMath on July 16, 1911 in Independence, Missouri, raised primarily in Fort Worth, Texas. Ginger was introduced to the world of performing arts at a young age. Her mother, Layla Rogers, was a newspaper reporter, scriptwriter, and later a film producer who played a pivotal role in managing and guiding her daughter's career. After winning a Charleston dance contest at age 15, Ginger began touring the vaudeville circuit, which provided her with the training and stage experience that would serve her well in the years to come. She soon moved into musical theater and then transitioned to film, initially landing small parts in early talkies. Rogers' breakthrough came in the early 1930s when she was cast in the film 42nd Street, 1933, a landmark musical that propelled her to national attention. However, her greatest fame came from her collaborations with Fred Astaire, beginning with Flying Down to Rio, 1933. Their chemistry was electric, and their performances seamlessly combined grace, athleticism, and emotional expression. Over the next several years, the pair starred in a total of 10 classic RKO musicals, including Top Hat, 1935, Swing Time, 1936, and Shall We Dance, 1937, captivating audiences with their sophisticated routines and undeniable screen rapport. What made Ginger Rogers' contribution so significant was that she was not merely a decorative counterpart to Astaire, she was his equal. In fact, the popular phrase, "she did everything he did but backwards and in high heels," became synonymous with the strength and skill she brought to their dances. Her ability to combine grace with grit, lightness with labor, made her not just a dancer, but a true artist. She proved that elegance and endurance could coexist, and that women in Hollywood could command as much attention and acclaim as their male counterparts. Yet Rogers was far more than a dancer. She demonstrated considerable range as an actress and earned acclaim in dramatic and comedic roles alike. Her versatility was best exemplified in Kitty Foyle, 1940, for which she won the Academy Award for Best Actress. The role allowed her to showcase emotional depth and authenticity, portraying a working-class woman navigating love and independence. This performance solidified her reputation as one of Hollywood's leading ladies and proved that she could carry a film entirely on her own. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Rogers maintained a successful film career, appearing in diverse roles that showcased her ability to adapt and evolve with the changing times. Films like Roxy Hart, 1942, The Major and the Minor, 1942, and Monkey Business, 1952, further highlighted her comedic timing and dramatic chops. She also returned to the stage, including appearances in Broadway and touring productions, and later worked in television, showing her enduring relevance in the entertainment industry. Rogers continued to act in both musicals and dramas, collaborating with major stars such as Cary Grant, James Stewart, and David Niven. Her filmography expanded to include a wide range of genres, from screwball comedies to romantic dramas to socially conscious films. As she matured, she also took to the stage, starring in Broadway productions such as Hello, Dolly, and Mame, demonstrating her enduring appeal and talent. In addition to her artistic achievements, Ginger Rogers was known for her personal integrity, professionalism, and strength of character. A devout Christian and a political conservative, she maintained her values throughout her life, even when they ran counter to the prevailing sentiments in Hollywood. She was deeply loyal to her family, especially her mother, who was her closest confidant and advisor. Despite a series of marriages that ended in divorce, Rogers remained resilient and self-reliant, managing her own finances and career decisions with acumen and dignity. Ginger Rogers officially retired from filmmaking in the late 1960s, but remained active in public appearances, theater, and television through the 1980s. Her autobiography, Ginger My Story, published in 1991, provided an intimate look into her life and career, offering candid insights into the challenges and triumphs she experienced as a woman navigating the male-dominated world of entertainment. Beyond her artistry, Ginger Rogers was admired for her intelligence, poise, and independence. She was a deeply spiritual woman with strong moral convictions and a sense of dignity that shaped her personal and professional life. She often chose roles that reflected strength and integrity and was selective about her projects, never compromising her values for fame. Off-screen, she was known for her graciousness, sense of humor, and enduring friendships with fellow stars, including Lucille Ball and Bette Davis. Ginger Rogers, one of Hollywood's most iconic actresses and dancers, experienced a complex and often turbulent personal life, particularly when it came to her romantic relationships. Over the course of her lifetime, Rogers married and divorced 5 times. Despite her many marriages, she never had children, a fact that would later lead her to reflect on her life with a mix of wistfulness and acceptance. Although she enjoyed a dynamic and successful career on screen, her private life often told a different story, one marked by brief unions, emotional ups and downs, and a search for lasting companionship that remained elusive. Rogers' journey through matrimony began at a young age. On March 29, 1929, when she was just 17 years old, she married for the first time. Her husband was Jack Pepper, a vaudeville entertainer and her dancing partner at the time. Born Edward Jackson Cole Pepper, Pepper was a talented performer in his own right, and the young couple shared a passion for music and dance that initially drew them together. However, their marriage proved to be short-lived. Despite their youthful enthusiasm and common professional interests, they separated soon after the wedding, and the union officially ended in divorce in 1931. This early marriage, entered into when Rogers was still on the cusp of adulthood, may have been an early indication of her struggle to balance personal intimacy with the demands of her burgeoning career. In 1932, shortly after her divorce from Pepper, Rogers began dating Mervyn LeRoy, a prominent film director and producer who would go on to shape Hollywood history with films like Little Caesar and Random Harvest. Their relationship, while never culminating in marriage, was significant enough to draw public attention. However, it eventually came to an end, with both parties reportedly agreeing that their lives were headed in different directions. Despite the breakup, Rogers and LeRoy maintained a close and enduring friendship that lasted for over 5 decades, until LeRoy's death in 1987. Their ability to remain on good terms long after their romantic involvement speaks to Rogers' capacity for emotional maturity and loyalty in her personal relationships, even when those relationships did not work out as intended. Rogers entered her second marriage in 1934 when she wed actor Lew Ayres, best known for his role in All Quiet on the Western Front, 1930. The pairing seemed promising. Both were prominent figures in the entertainment industry and shared similar professional experiences. However, like her first marriage, this union was also destined to fail. Though they stayed together for 6 years, longer than any of her previous or subsequent marriages, the relationship became strained over time, likely due to the pressures of fame, differing career priorities, and the frequent separations caused by their work commitments. They divorced in 1940, bringing an end to what many had hoped would be a stable and lasting partnership. In 1943, during the height of World War II, Rogers married her third husband, Jack Briggs. A handsome and patriotic U.S. Marine, Briggs brought a new kind of presence into her life, one that contrasted with her previous show business partners. Their marriage occurred at a time when the country was immersed in wartime sentiment, and many Hollywood stars were involved in efforts to boost morale among the troops. Rogers herself had been active in war bond drives and USO tours. Though the marriage started with great optimism, it gradually unraveled, possibly due to the challenges of readjusting to civilian life after the war and the persistent demands of Rogers' film career. The couple divorced in 1950, after 7 years together. In 1953, Rogers entered into what would become one of her most talked-about marriages when she wed Jacques Bergerac, a charming French actor who was 16 years her junior. The two had met while Rogers was on a trip to Paris, and their whirlwind romance quickly became the subject of tabloid fascination. Bergerac was not just a budding actor, he was also a trained lawyer in France. Encouraged by Rogers and captivated by the allure of Hollywood, he made the transatlantic move to the United States and began a career in the film industry, partially aided by Rogers' connections. Their marriage drew attention both for its cross-cultural nature and for the notable age difference between the two. Despite the glamour that surrounded their relationship, underlying issues soon emerged. Bergerac's transition into the Hollywood scene was met with mixed success, and the pressures of living in Rogers' formidable shadow may have taken a toll on the marriage. They divorced in 1957 after 4 years together. Rogers' fifth and final marriage was to director and producer William Marshall. The two tied the knot in 1961, and for a time their partnership appeared to hold promise, especially as they embarked on a shared creative venture by founding a film production company based in Jamaica. However, this period of her life was marked by increasing instability. Marshall's struggles with alcoholism created tension in their relationship, and their professional collaborations suffered under the strain of mismanagement and financial difficulties. The collapse of their production company not only dealt a serious blow to Rogers' ambitions as a producer, but also led to the eventual breakdown of their marriage. They divorced in 1970, bringing to an end what would be her final attempt at married life. In the golden age of Hollywood, few films captured the raw ambition and emotional complexities of aspiring actresses quite like Stage Door 1937. Directed by Gregory LaCava, the film brought together an exceptional ensemble cast led by Katharine Hepburn, Ginger Rogers, Lucille Ball, and Ann Miller. But behind the sharp dialogue, powerful performances, and glittering studio lights lay a fascinating array of behind-the-scenes stories, many of which were later revealed by Ginger Rogers herself, offering fans and historians a rare glimpse into the real-life drama that unfolded beyond the camera. Ginger Rogers, already a household name thanks to her iconic dance collaborations with Fred Astaire, took on the role of Jean Maitland, a tough-talking, independent young woman trying to make it in the competitive world of the theater. Unlike her glamorous musicals, Stage Door demanded a different type of performance, naturalistic, emotionally grounded, and often spontaneous. Rogers later spoke about how different this film felt from her usual work, describing it as a breath of fresh air that allowed her to explore her dramatic range in ways she hadn't before. One of the most surprising secrets Rogers shared was about the unique directing style of Gregory LaCava. Known for his improvisational approach, LaCava encouraged the actresses to ad-lib and often rewrote scenes at the last minute. This led to an unusually lively and authentic rhythm in the dialogue, especially in scenes where multiple actresses were speaking over one another, a groundbreaking technique at the time. Rogers recounted how this chaotic method initially unnerved the cast, but ultimately helped them bond and produce performances that felt real and unscripted. According to her, some of the most memorable lines in the film weren't in the script at all. They emerged organically during rehearsal or filming, a testament to the trust LaCava placed in his actors. Ginger also revealed the challenges and camaraderie that came with working alongside Katharine Hepburn, who played the privileged but emotionally fragile Terry Randall. Although rumors of rivalry swirled for years, Rogers always insisted they had a professional respect for one another. She admitted, however, that their personalities couldn't have been more different. Hepburn's intellectual aloof demeanor clashed at times with Rogers' more grounded and easygoing nature. Yet this contrast translated beautifully on screen, creating an electric tension between their characters that elevated the film. Perhaps one of the most touching behind-the-scenes anecdotes Rogers shared involved the then 14-year-old Ann Miller, who lied about her age to land the role of a boarder in the theatrical boarding house. Rogers took Miller under her wing, offering advice and encouragement as she navigated the pressures of a major film production for the first time. Years later, Miller credited Rogers with being a source of inspiration and kindness during those formative days. Ginger saw a bit of herself in the young dancer, ambitious, eager, and full of raw talent, and made it her mission to protect her in a world that wasn't always forgiving. Rogers also described how Stage Door was a turning point in the portrayal of women on screen. It offered one of the earliest and most honest depictions of female friendship, professional rivalry, and shared struggle in Hollywood. While most films of the era relegated women to romantic subplots or decorative roles, Stage Door gave its female characters depth, voice, and agency. Ginger was proud to be part of a film that challenged stereotypes and reflected the complexities of real women's lives. In later interviews, Rogers spoke fondly of the film's legacy. She believed Stage Door was ahead of its time, both in its content and its method, and that its influence could still be felt in ensemble dramas decades later. She often emphasized how much the experience meant to her personally, not only as an actress, but as a woman in the male-dominated world of 1930s Hollywood. The friendships she formed, the artistic risks she took, and the emotional depth she uncovered all made Stage Door one of the most meaningful projects of her career. In the end, Stage Door remains not just a classic film, but a snapshot of a moment when Hollywood dared to tell women's stories with honesty and flair. Thanks to Ginger Rogers' candid recollections, audiences have been able to look past the stage makeup and bright lights to see the heart, soul, and sometimes chaos that brought this landmark film to life. In the later years of her life, legendary actress, singer, and dancer Ginger Rogers divided her time between two beloved residences that reflected her deep connection to both glamour and tranquility. During the colder months, Rogers resided in Rancho Mirage, California, a serene and upscale community nestled in the Coachella Valley near Palm Springs. Rancho Mirage, long known as a retreat for Hollywood's elite and political dignitaries, offered Rogers both the privacy she cherished and a social scene that suited her storied career in the entertainment industry. Her elegant desert home, surrounded by palm trees and desert blooms, provided her with a peaceful sanctuary where she could reflect on a life that had spanned vaudeville stages, Hollywood musicals, and dramatic roles in film and theater. When summer arrived, Rogers would leave the dry heat of the California desert and travel north to Medford, Oregon, a picturesque town in the Rogue Valley known for its lush scenery and slower pace of life. Rogers had fallen in love with the natural beauty of southern Oregon years earlier and eventually purchased property there. Her summer home in Medford became not just a retreat, but a place where she actively participated in the local community. She attended cultural events, supported the local arts, and was known to be gracious and approachable with neighbors and fans alike. The quietude of Oregon life allowed Rogers a respite from the spotlight and served as a reminder of her deep-rooted values and appreciation for simpler pleasures. Sadly, Ginger Rogers passed away on April 25, 1995, at the age of 83. She died at her Rancho Mirage home from a heart attack, marking the end of an extraordinary life that had touched millions across generations. Her passing was mourned not only by fans around the world, but also by fellow actors, dancers, and admirers who regarded her as a pioneering force in American cinema. Tributes poured in, remembering her dazzling footwork alongside Fred Astaire, her Academy Award-winning performance in Kitty Foyle, and her singular ability to combine comedic charm with dramatic depth. Rogers had remained a symbol of grace and perseverance to the very end, never losing touch with the poise and discipline that had defined her career. Following her death, Rogers was cremated and her ashes were interred in Oakwood Memorial Park Cemetery in Chatsworth, California, a peaceful cemetery in the San Fernando Valley that is the final resting place of numerous Hollywood luminaries. There she was laid to rest beside her beloved mother, Layla Imogene Rogers, who had played an integral role in shaping her daughter's career and life. Layla had been more than a mother. She was Ginger's manager, mentor, and constant companion, fiercely devoted and unwaveringly supportive. Their shared gravesite stands as a testament to their bond, one of the most enduring mother-daughter partnerships in Hollywood history. Visitors to the cemetery often leave flowers or pause in reflection at their marker, paying homage to the extraordinary woman who helped define the golden age of Hollywood.